And it's been so long since, when was the last time you played Atlantic City?
6 years ago with that lovely lady. You know,
that lovely lady.
Anne Gillian.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That was here, wasn't it?
Yes, it was indeed. Yeah.
What a wonder.
She's had a baby since then.
You're not the father.
Waiter, gotta have the check.
We're backstage at Trump Plaza. You're not the father. We're backstage at Trump Plaza, our home away from home with Tony Newley.
Who's just going to be sued by Anne Gillian's husband?
Really, no, absolutely not. Anne Gillian, the father of her baby,
yes.
is Andy Murcia. I know him quite well. They're very good friends.
He's very large and he's a policeman.
Former policeman. It's okay. It's okay. We're going to, listen, when we come back, we're going to talk Broadway.
Yep.
We're going to talk movies.
Right. We're
going to talk nightclubs. We're going to talk about the different dimensions of your career. Is that all right with you?
Yes, sir.
Don't go away. Be right back. We're laughing at inside jokes. We're back at Dressing Room B at Trump Plaza where Tony Newley, I want to say Anthony Newley, because it's more dramatic.
I think so,
but
too.
I've known you for many years, and I know you as Tony. So may I call you Tony?
Please, please.
And you may call me
yes.
whatever you choose.
Sure. Yes.
Anyway,
yes.
Welcome back to Atlantic City.
Thank you so much, David.
It's been a while since we've seen you. I just watched your show downstairs. And
what do you think?
Well, I think the same things whenever I see you, and that is, I wish more people came to Atlantic City and put the drama and the flair and the theatricality onto the stage that you do. And I would imagine...
Is that like good? Or
well, according
why
to...
Why
according
the
to
press
my
people find the word good so difficult to say? I did a good show tonight, right?
You did an excellent show
Let me see
tonight.
your lips actually say that, David.
Watch this. Jake, if you can go to a two-shot, I'm going to look at the camera and say, this is an excellent show. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David.
Excellent show. But I find that it's probably your background as an actor that helps you kind of rise above the level of
I love to tell a
singer.
Yeah, well, I mean, I love to tell a story, and I think basically songs are stories in music, and that turns me on, you know. And of course, I also sing most of my own songs, so I sort of understand them quite well. But yes, most of the songs are dramatic.
And all right, now that's the key point there, is that most of the songs in your show are songs you have written.
Yes, sir.
Or have co-written with
Brickus. Yeah,
Leslie Brickus. Over the past, 30-some years.
Yes, it is getting on now, yes.
And
yes. No, the 60s, we were together throughout the entire 60s and early 70s.
When you are singing these songs, I mean, obviously, nobody can interpret a song like you can, especially because you were the composer.
Yeah.
But what about when you hear another artist's interpretation of a song that you wrote? For instance, Sammy Davis doing "What Kind of Fool Am I," or Tony Bennett came along and did once in
Who Could I Turn To? Yeah.
Who Could I Turn To? Right.
Yeah. I mean,
it's obviously an honor for them to record.
Yes, of course. I mean, I can't honestly say it ever bothered me. I mean, it was so extraordinarily exciting to have people of that caliber sing our songs to start with. No, I mean, being part author of the song was marvelous. I miss those years. I mean, they were truly glorious years.
But what about when you heard another person's interpretation of your song?
Yes, that's where I gave notes. See, for instance, everybody made the mistake, I think, in singing full dramatically. You can't dramatize something that's already loaded with drama, and I think most people tended to go overboard. I thought Andy Williams did a lovely rendition of it, but Sam's was the hit.
Sam's was the hit, and no two ways about it.
But I think the trick with Fool is to mean it, but not go for the drama. Is to lay it in the lap of the audience. You know, it's that whole thing. It's very German. Is to get the audience to make the drama in their heart, and not for you to do it for them. You know, Brecht. That's right. Brecht used to do that. Throw the onus onto the audience for the experience.
You know, it's funny that you should mention Fool, because I was thinking of that song today, and not in a dramatic sense, but in an almost funny way, because today I did something very impetuous and foolish, but something I'd been thinking of for a long time, and I went out and I bought a boat.
Good.
A beautiful boat. But nonetheless, it was a major expense.
But you know what they say about a boat, don't you? The two greatest days in your life.
The day you buy it and the day you sell it, and today was the first of those two greatest days.
What do they say? It's a hole in the water into which you pour money.
Pours money. It's I know all
you
the
knew
jokes.
All this and you
I owned a boat once before, and I've been around boats all my life. And the last time I had one, I said I'll never own one again. But that was
good Lord.
So you've
been through this all before.
I said to my wife and to my producer Jake, I said, I think it's rather amusing and ironic that I'm about to go out and shoot a show with a gentleman whose biggest hit was a song called "What Kind of Fool Am I?" and I'm doing it right after I spent all this money on a boat, and we laughed about it. And then when I heard your interpretation, you're right, it was not an overly dramatic song.
No, and I think that you're right. I think that's where the acting comes in, is you understand as an actor that that if the words are as loaded as the words for fool are, you should really step back from it.
Mm.
I mean, I'd love to, eventually when the legs give out, I'd love to teach. And I think those are the things one should teach young people about song telling. Because, as I say, singing a song is telling a story. Not many singers do it these days, especially not cafe performers. But
right.
That's, I mean, after Joel Grey and Ben Vereen and I go, there won't be, it'll all be doggy do, dog do, do, do. That's what it's coming to.
It's interesting you would say that, because
it's tragic, actually.
Well,
it's not.
Well, you've got Sinatra saying things like, well, when Tony Bennett and Vic Damone and I go, there'll be no more saloon singers. And you're saying, well, when Ben Vereen and Joel Grey and I go...
There'll be a Broadway lot going, yeah, exactly.
What are we going to be left
with? What's tragic is not that we're going,
right,
but that what's taking its place. I mean, there's a whole generation growing up thinking that the Grateful Dead is high music. I mean, it's tragic, and America should be angry about it, but they don't seem to. I don't know what you can do about it, but... and what I'm saying, of course, is generational, and it's been said since the beginning of time.
Well, that's reflected in your show with a song that you do.
Yeah, White Boy.
It's called White Boy. Where did that come from?
Just about here.
Okay. That's your song.
Where the bile lives, yeah.
Yeah. You want to... the song basically says, I want my music back.
Yes,
you don't understand rap or hip-hop or whatever.
No. And I defy anybody to know what it's about. Well, I know what it is. It's anger set to music. And I don't know how long America's youth can subsist on pure anger.
But isn't in a way taking what you did with Brickers 30 years ago? You turned emotion into music, and now the natural evolution is taking anger and turning that into art, or is there a line that's being crossed?
I think it's a marvelous conversation and really deserves time on its own. I mean, it's a sociological question, you know.
Right.
Where are the songwriters coming from?
Well, they're coming from A&E or something, you know.
No, I mean, they're coming from some strange quarters.
Right.
In my day, performers dressed up to go on the stage. Now they dress down. It's a conversation that is really loaded with strange cultural overtones, but nevertheless fascinating.
When did you write that song? It's got to be rather recent.
2 or 3 months ago, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It's on an LP that I cannot get, I cannot give away, but I enjoy singing it, so I sing it. The same with the other song, Too Much Woman. But I'm supposed to, when I go back, be doing a single for the LP with Elton John. I mean, that may just be a fantasy land, but I've been told that he will give time to do. So it'd be nice.
That would be that would kind of be going back to almost to your roots as a rock. You sang rock and roll.
Yes, I mean I've got to admit that I did.
Right,
yes, exactly. But I mean, I don't. You see, the Beatles now sound charming.
Right.
I mean, it's almost.
And they look so clean and wholesome.
Charm. Yeah, of course they're so clean. But David, look you know what I'm saying about the music today. The sharp end of the music. I don't mean there's a lot of lovely new girls coming up whose lyrics are truly enchanting. And I think in the not too distant future we will see charm come back in music and lyrics and tonal niceness. But the anger that comes out of the disenfranchised world is not pretty. And I don't know what it proves. But my little boy of 14 plays rap all the time. And it breaks my heart. And I know that the worst thing I can do is to tell him how hideous I think it is. Because he too has got to be a man, and he's got to prove that his taste against mine is,
Right.
you know what I'm saying. You're probably a father yourself.
I certainly am. I have a 13-year-old who listens to
Yeah.
probably the same
Yeah.
same thing. I have a 10-year-old daughter who the other night we were watching the credits of some movie as we were channel surfing, and there was some rap. Well, we're channel surfing, and there's this movie credits running, and there was this rap song that I really desperately tried to tune out. And she said to me, "Oh, that's Sir Mix-a-Lot." And I'd say, "I beg your pardon." She said, "It's Sir Mix-a-Lot." And I said, "Look, I mean, I'm an entertainment writer. I host a TV show. I'm not familiar with a human being named Sir Mix-a-Lot." And then she proceeded to explain that he was a rap star. That's what your song...
They are expendable. They're like Kleenex. I mean, they last for what? They have a shelf life of about 2 or 3 years. Then where do they go?
They have a shelf life of maybe $3 or $4 million, and that's it.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, bless them.
Just enough to...
But where do they go after that?
Right.
I mean, they buy a bike shop and disappear. Who knows what happens to them? But that's the only thing that could be said. Somebody said the other night that all the rock and roll music that's been written in the last, 10 years, will we ever hear it again? Will we hear as time goes by? I mean, will it have the same credibility as time goes by, songs like that in 10, 15 years? One can only hope that... no, I mustn't say that. That's editorializing.
But that's okay. You're allowed to editorialize. These are your thoughts. These are your opinions. I'll never forget the first time that I saw heard Frank Sinatra sing the Beatles song "Something." I was blown away. I thought, my God, that's... I guess it's a standard now.
Yes, quite. He dignified it. Yes.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. But Frank didn't do too much of that. Andy Williams embraced the whole rock and roll thing with both arms,
Well, he introduced Elton John to American audiences. Andy Williams on his TV show.
Did he really?
Yes, he did.
Well, I think Elton's a gifted man, but Frank rarely. Frank never sang any of our songs. Not one. I think he felt slightly upstaged by Sam, who got the phone call first. But no, I think you're right. I think Frank, when he sang a song from the early rock and roll days, did dignify, did elevate it.
So those songs, from the early Beatles years, those could become the standards.
Yes, but have you heard Frank sing anything?
I have yet to hear him sing "Womp There It Is," or any other song by Tag Team or.
Mind you, he is falling into the furniture these days. So some things are not easy for Frank to do.
The show does air in Hoboken. I'm sorry. I didn't mean...
No, I mean, even he would understand it.
Yeah, I think he would.
Okay, Frank? I don't want a man with large hands coming to my room.
Think what fun we'd have, asking over crocodiles for tea. Or maybe lunch with 2 or 3 lions, walruses and sea lions. What a lovely place the world would be. I'd learn to speak in antelope and turtle. My Pekingese would be extremely good. If I were asked to sing in hippopotamus, I'd say why not us? And then I would. And if we all spoke like animals, gradually we drop it with no fuss. If I could walk with the animals, talk with the animals, grunt and squeak and squawk.
A few years ago, it's been about 10 years or more since you tried to do the musical based on Chaplin.
Yes.
And you said to me...
I love it when you remember the things that didn't
Oh,
work
I can
in
bring
my career.
back all kinds of things. I mean, I can go way into your past. We won't talk about ex-wives, though.
No.
Because that's in the past, Joan Collins. But anyway, you had said... Wait a minute.
How cruel they are.
I'm not cruel. I want to find this. But you had said that you wanted to go back to Broadway because, quite frankly, there was no other place for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still feel that way?
I do what I do very well. Not many people do what I do. Broadway could use people like me. I understand also that if it isn't Broadway, it's got to be television. So when I go back to England, I'm doing a television series, because if you're not on the box, you're not alive. I think what I meant in those days was that I had a gift that was fairly rare. And I mean, whenever I walk down the street in New York, Mr. Newley, when are you going to do a show? People love the theatre in America, more than they do in England even. And I never had the affection or the respect I had when I was on Broadway. I mean, it was like, it's a very special thing to be a star in a Broadway show. very special.
But it would seem to me that the only thing anymore that makes it on Broadway is when they put $15 million worth of production on the stage, and it's not the substance that they're reviewing.
I'm telling you, you understand that the theatre is in a desperate fight for survival, and the only thing it can do that nobody else can do is on that night to make an event. You know, look at the English, they have stuff coming in, climbing, swimming pools turning over. I mean, you've got to say to people coming to the theatre, you cannot see this anywhere else. You know, it makes sense, but it's going to cost you $15 million to put on. You know, Chaplin cost $2 million, and we didn't have half the effects that. I mean, I thought that was a lot of money.
And that was 12, 13 years ago. Imagine trying to mount that today. It would have to be double that.
It broke our collective hearts to take $2 million from somebody and see it go down the toilet. I mean, it was really sad.
And it opened and closed in L.A., didn't it?
8 weeks. Yeah.
8 weeks.
Yeah, yeah. We thought we were going to New York. We were all packed to go. But David, that late night talk guy, David something, who passed away, he said he would take us there. And when we got to New York, he didn't have any money. A very famous talk show host in the 50s, 60s. Yeah, David. You know, with the white hair. Poor dear man. He said, it's the best show I've ever seen. We're going to New York. And all the kids said, yay, and they all packed their bags. All the scenery went to New York.
For David Susskind.
And his check bounced. It was tragic, tragic.
How did you feel personally about that?
I think I became really sick then. I had the unenviable job of calling people trying to find money to take it to New York. I find it very difficult to call people and say, have you got a spare 500,000? I mean, I sing. That's all I don't do anything. I don't book tickets or, you know. And I found that truly dispiriting. And that was a low point.
After all you had done in your career, I mean, you were responsible for writing some of the most popular songs of an era.
Trying to raise money.
Here you were, you know.
That's a gift. Raising money is a gift.
You know.
Yeah, raising money is a gift.
Yeah.
Either you can do it or you can't. I couldn't do it. But I mean, when you think, David, I'd spent 5 years writing the bloody thing.
Right.
That's a lot of time. I mean, I've been writing a musical version of Richard III now for conservatively 8 years. You know, whether it will ever get on the boards, who knows. So it's a long haul.
I remember, you know, before he died, Peter Allen had dreamed of doing Legs Diamond. I remember Peter talking about that show in 80 and 81.
Yeah.
I just got back from Australia. In fact, one night when he was in town, we were sitting in his room and he got out the piano and he started playing some of the music. And it took him 8 years, 9 years to get it, finally to get it together, put it on the stage, and they destroyed it.
That's right.
Virtually overnight.
It is one of the toughest things in the world to put a musical together that works. I mean, there's 4 musical book writers in America out of a population of, what, 300 million?
Right.
There's 4 who understand how to do it. It is deceptively simple when you look at it, but so difficult to do. But when it works, if you get a Les Miserables, my friend Herbert Kretzmer wrote the English lyrics. Doesn't have to work ever again. So that's the lure.
I could sit here all night and talk to you, but I know you have to go, and I know we're running out of time and tape. All I can say is, Tony Newley, it's been a fascinating 17, 18 minutes. We do. And next time we get together, we'll go out for dinner, but we'll remember where we went next time.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Thank you, people.
Back with our calendar segment, right?
I can see you down the days, your tiny hands pretend nothing you do away. And every time you touch me, there was thunder with the music, and reason was a stranger in the wonder and the danger of your dance. Sometime after I found myself in London playing the London Palladium. And London was the town where Sarah and I had made the movie, so I expected in some way that she would come and see the show, that she would realize that this was the song that I had promised to write for her, that she would be touched, that she would come back, say hello, you know how you think. I got through the whole engagement. Last night, came out, got into a cab, was driving away. And I heard my name being called, and I looked out of the back of the cab, and there was Sarah, running down the street. I could still see her with her hair in the street lamps. And I said to the cab, stop. And I opened the door because I thought she was going to get in. I mean, that's how it happens in movies. And she came to the door, and I said, Sarah, I'm so happy to see you. And she said, I'd like you to meet my boyfriend. And I looked out the back window, and sure enough, standing under the stage door lamp was this young boy. Good-looking young son of a gun he was. And of course, they were perfect for each other. And I suddenly felt so old. I think I could have forgiven her anything but that. Yes, reason was a stranger in the wonder and the danger of your dog.